It was the last day of school, until summer break. I was actually pretty excited because, well, one, it was actually my last period of school. So I was really getting Nancy in my seat. And so were others. Just when we were about to finish up the last period, the PA system came on, indicating that it was the principal. He sounded worried and scared. He said that this was not a drill and to go into lockdown. I actually got chills and I was super scared because this was like our first real lockdown. The lockdown we had was either a false alarm or a practice, but this one was actually pretty legit. The teacher rushed us into a corner of the room to not be seen from the door. I sat in a position where I could see the door and the hallway because of the window. The teacher turned off all the lights and told us to quiet down. I saw the window. It was actually pretty dark in the hallway, indicating that the school must have turned off all the lights in the hallways. Minutes went by. Felt like hours, though. That's when we heard it. We heard footsteps on the floor, indicating that someone was actually walking in our school. At first, I thought it was just staff, but when I know this is a real lockdown, well, actually, when there is a real lockdown, staff does not just go roaming the halls if there is an intruder. Then we heard like muffled sounds, kind of like a guy, but it was a voice non-familiar. It was a guy that was not in our school at all. He was actually mumbling something to himself. I couldn't make it out, but it was something. The footsteps got louder as I realized he got closer to our door. Then the footsteps stopped. It was quiet now. I looked out the door again. The guy was just standing there, on the other side of the door. He was trying to look in through the window to see if there was any victims that he could do, or whatever he wanted to do. He was just looking. He then started pounding on the door, like some maniac. I was actually really scared at the time. I looked over to one of my peers. One of the girls was actually crying. The man then shouted, "Open up!" That was the thing that really frightened me. He kept pounding on the door. It felt like hours or 20 minutes that went by. It was a long time before he stopped. He then just moved on. Then the principal came on the PA system after like 20 or 25 minutes. He explained the situation. He told us that some guy that lived down the street from our school came in just out of nowhere and just walked. Of course, the front desk saw him, but he also saw that he was armed. So he warned the principal and announced that we were going into lockdown. The principal knew that the guy was still in the school since the front desk hasn't seen him leave. So they decided to keep us into lockdown. Another 20 minutes went by with nothing. No sound, no pounding, no footsteps, no mumbling, nothing. The PA came on again. The principal said that there was no signs of the intruder anywhere, but in case that there was, we need to keep all doors locked and do not let any students leave for any reason. So we kept teaching. Well, basically we didn't really learn anything that day since it was the last day. So after that, the cops came. They checked the school. They came out with the guy in handcuffs as he was just standing in a closet. The man tried fighting back, but the cops grabbed him, tugged him down, and arrested him. I went home, but they put us all in buses just so it wouldn't be scared. I got home safe that day. But this was literally the scariest scene of my life. My name's Tim. I'm 25 years old. And I was at the shore with my friends. My friends had some of their girlfriends there. Now, there was like 2 beach houses that we stayed in. Some the guys went to, the others I and some of my friends went to. Of course, the girlfriend stayed in the other beach house, but not the one with me in it. So it was just me and my friends. We traveled down to the shore. It took a little long, about a half-hour drive. Anyway, once we got there and unpacked, we decided to head to the beach. Onto the beach, we kind of swam, boogie boarded, and one of my friends knew how to surf, so he decided to catch some waves. So basically, after we were done, we decided to head back. On our way back to the beach house, we saw a man just standing there. He was looking at all of us. "Who's that man over there?" I asked. My friends looked back at him. My friends then said, he was probably just some creepy guy. Probably lost or something. Then one of my friends came on with that sentence as a joke. He said, "Yeah, probably lost his mind." Anyway, I chuckled nervously as he was actually staring at me. So we decided to move along. We decided to change out of our bathing suits, put on our clothes, and go to like a casino near our beach house. It was great. The casino was great. I actually had a few drinks, and then I kind of got a little bit drunk. Once we left the casino, we both went to our separate beach houses. Once I left the casino, I wasn't drunk, but I was buzzed. So I crookedly and wobbly went to the car. So we drove to our beach house. I decided to go into the bathroom to wash up, while my friends just went straight to bed, as it was like 3 a.m. I decided to wash my face and put some water on my face. And then I realized I heard a noise. It's like a creak. Like a creak in the floor. Like someone stepped on the floor and it creaked. I was actually nervous at the moment. But it was probably my head just messing with me as I was still buzzed. So I continued washing my face. Once again, another creak. I decided to check. So I opened the bathroom door, poked my head out, and looked in both directions. To my right, there was nothing, except just an empty, dark hallway with some drawers and vases. When I looked to my right, I felt like my heart jumped. to my right, there was a dark hallway, but in the darkness, I can make out a figure just standing there. I called out to one of my friends. Tim? Bob? Although, no response. I decided that this was creepy enough. I literally popped my head back into the bathroom and shut the door. But then I decided to confront the man. And that was the dumbest decision I might have ever made. When I stepped back out into the hall, the man was closer. I can actually make out more of his figure. In his left hand, he was holding something. It was something piercing sharp. Really sharp. I decided I'm not going to confront this man as he would have injured me. Then, he charged at me. I puffed my head. I went back into the bathroom and shut the door and locked it, right when he was about to open the door. Luckily, I had my phone in my pocket still and called 911. I called, and as I called, there was scratching on the door. The man was actually clawing or maybe drawing his sharp, piercing weapon at the door. Then the scratching stopped. When the police arrived, they searched the house. They actually brought two of my buddies out. And I was actually really surprised. In fact, they were more shocked as me as they slept through this whole thing. I told them what happened and they were shocked and scared. Then the police came out with the man in handcuffs. And when I saw the man, my heart sank into my stomach. It was the same man from earlier that was watching us on the beach. That man has actually broken into the house to possibly kill me. I was not uncomfortable. I was not comfortable at all. So we decided to go to the other beach house where my other friends were. We decided to stay there for the night. Of course, the man was arrested, but while he was put into the cop car, he gave me the most evil stare I've ever saw. They drove away and we stayed at the other beach house. We still stayed there for the vacation, but I'm just still worried of what actually happened. And what happened will never leave my mind. I'm 13 years old, and I actually loved summer camps. I know some kids don't like it, but I kind of loved it. I loved the experience and the overnights. So, my parents decided that I could go to one of those overnight summer camps. I got there, and it was actually really nice. A lot of activities. There was a pool, a lake, and other activities. I was actually especially excited about all the activities, and I could actually make new friends over the summer. The limit was 4 weeks, so we stayed there. On the 3rd week, though, something strange happened. It was nighttime, and we were just doing like our original camp songs that counselors do. Now, be noted that there was a boy shed and a girl shed, so we slept separately. After the campfire song, we decided that we all head to bed. I went to bed, and so did the other boys and girls. Now, as I was washing up, I kind of heard a little bit of footsteps outside. Of course, I thought it was just one of the counselors, so I brushed it off and went to bed. I closed my eyes. It was the window. Someone was actually knocking on the window. I woke up. Now be noted that there's like a clock in the shed. The clock went 2:30 a.m. I was actually annoyed as I was trying to sleep. There was a knock again. This time it was harder. The louder the knocks, the harder they were. Which means the louder they were, the more hard time I had to sleep. I actually had enough. I woke up and tried to look outside the window. Except nothing was there. Now I was actually nervous. So I decided to get into bed again. This time, if the knock came from the window, I would look straight at it to see who was there. 5 minutes passed. Nothing. 15. Nothing. 25 minutes. And the final knock. I shot straight up and looked at the window. I actually saw a hand. But it wasn't a hand. Like, it was a hand, but it wasn't human. The hand had like 3 huge fingers, and the hand was like a size of a football. It was actually the size of something. I can't explain it. All I know is the hand was not human. It looked disfigured. That actually made me scared, as the confidence turned into scared. Now I was actually ready to investigate. I got up, and the stupidest thing that I've ever done in my life, probably not really the last, but the stupidest, I opened the window. I looked towards my right to see where the hand was. There, I caught the figure. And I was stunned. The figure was not human at all. In the woods, I could see a figure. It was not human. The figure was on 2 legs, yes, but 2 legs, hunched over, really long arms, 3 fingers, and a really giant head. I don't know what kind of thing was it. I was actually really scared that I was about to go tell one of the counselors. But then I thought about it for a second. If I told one of the counselors, that thing out there, or something, whatever it was, would chase me. So I just decided to close the window. Right before I shut it, I heard something that will never leave my mind. That was the scream of whatever that thing was. I shut the window quick than I ever did and ran straight out the door, not even thinking twice. The creature didn't follow me, so I made it to the counselor's office. Luckily, one of the counselors was there, and I told him what I saw and what happened. Then he called the sheriff's office. The sheriff arrived to the campsite the next morning. They searched all over the place, but nothing. They decided that the fourth week would not be safe for any of the campers and just to go back to their parents' house. So we went home on the third week. This was literally the scariest moment of my life.